A former communist from a Catholic family, the son of a petrol station attendant. The 61-year-old leader of the Italian left, Pier Luigi Bersani, is the only larger-than-life element of the centre-left Democratic Party, whose decent and calm image is a far cry from the over-the-top personality of his main challenger, Silvio Berlusconi. Bersani has pledged to continue the agenda of Prime Minister Mario Monti's fiscal programme, but he wants to introduce more pro-growth measures in an attempt to blunt Mr Berlusconi's persistent claims that austerity has halted economic recovery. He is a staunch Europhile, calling for the creation of the United States of Europe, and is also the front-runner in the opinion polls ahead of the Italian election. Mr Bersani, if the election had been held a year ago, you would be Italy's Prime Minister, but now things appear to be more complicated. You've never said that your victory is certain. Berlusconi says he's very close to overtaking you. Do you feel him breathing down your neck?
First of all, a year ago, we did what we had to do for Italy. And we haven't had any regrets, despite Italy's troubles. Of course, the right does exist in this country, that's undeniable. The right exists, and Berlusconi makes populist appeals. He blows his own trumpet. Nevertheless, I don't feel the right is breathing down my neck because I'm sensing a will to change throughout the country, and therefore I feel very confident about our electoral results.
You received a warm welcome in Paris, Brussels and Berlin. Your team members flew to London to soothe the city's bankers, and now you're here on Euronews to speak to the people of Europe. Do you get the feeling that the whole of Europe, including the right-wingers, is cheering for you?
What I've often perceived is a deep concern about a result that could confirm Berlusconi's eternal comeback. Because I think Europe clearly saw how Berlusconi's Italy crippled the very idea of Europe, its credibility. So yes, my perception is that we have a responsibility to win, not only for Italy but also for the whole of Europe, and not just for left-wing Europe.
In Europe, it's still not clear whether Monti is a right-wing moderate or a left-wing Christian Democrat. What's your take on this?
We're currently having the same discussions in Italy. Therefore, we haven't reached a proper definition yet. Let's say Monti is a moderate liberal with, lately, some of the flavour of a Christian Democrat. He said he's had advice from Obama's advisor, David Axelrod, and so-called gurus like him generally advise attacking your opponent and making promises. Therefore, we saw some kind of conversion. We have a new Monti in front of us. Frankly, I don't know what to think. It'll be for the voters to decide.
Your party's slogan is "The Right Italy." How would Italy change with you as its Prime Minister?
The right Italy means an Italy that, for starters, sees itself as a country restored from a moral standpoint. Then it's all about sobriety in politics. It's about creating serious laws against corruption, against conflicts of interest, and in favour of free and open markets. It's about upholding rights like those rights we have in Europe: children of immigrants, homosexual couples, gender equality, the right to education, the right of workers to have a say in the decisions made by a company, and so on. And building on that, it's about work. The right Italy is made up of an Italy that can have more work, and so, to sum up, we need to focus on the real economy, which we've all lost sight of, and I intend to reignite the passion of Italy and Italians for the real economy, our companies, our job, our made in Italy. That's our starting point.
How do you feel about leading Italy without the full support of the financial markets?
I believe the financial markets are not a variable that can be ignored. I think the markets can read Italy's economic situation. The size of our economy makes us too big a country to be saved without a bailout. So we must continue the recovery policies, budgetary control, stability. However the markets say we don't have enough growth, we're in too deep a recession, and no one adjusts their budgets when they're in long-term recession. And so you have to combine strict policies with growth policies. We ask for this to happen at the European level. We should make it happen in Italy.
You decided to have former anti-mafia state attorney Pier running for your party. Is this a warning against organised crime? And are you thinking about him as a possible Minister of Justice?
Pier is certainly a personality of great importance, and his presence indicates precisely my intention to declare war on crime and to take a strong stance against crime. Let's not forget that in times of crisis, crime prospers thanks to its financial resources.
But Berlusconi says it's his government that put all the criminals in jail.
Berlusconi says a lot of things. Unfortunately, criminals are still around and their dirty economy is still penetrating the clean economy.
You have former anti-mafia state attorney Pier running for your party. Is this a warning against organised crime? Are you thinking of him as a possible Minister of Justice?
It's clear there's no silver bullet, but we certainly need to improve some of the rules regarding work and temporary jobs. But rules alone don't create jobs. Work is generated with consumption and investment. Therefore, my recipe is to seek fiscal and economic policies which will encourage private and public investment and reignite consumerism. These are the main priorities if we really want to talk about employment. And in 2014, we have to fix a target and put a plus sign in front of our employment figures.
There's much anticipation for the Italian elections in Europe. But if the centre-right coalition conquers the Lombardy region, they've said they'll create a European northern macro-region by merging it with two others. Not the best business card to present to Brussels, don't you think?
These are crazy and populist propositions by the Northern League. These are policies that led to trouble and are inspired by a culture of narrow-mindedness, regression and barriers. This is what they are. Honestly, I believe that the north of the country has understood that all this is leading us nowhere.
Unlike Berlusconi and Monti, you've chosen not to appear on television a lot, so let me thank you for agreeing to this interview. You've instead chosen to campaign around the country. Did you find the right Italy among the people?
I found a very angry Italy, but I think that at least the Italy close to us wants to bring about a change in government. To this Italy, I say that protests by themselves will not take us anywhere. But even government without change will lead us nowhere. So the synthesis between change and government is what we've been proposing while travelling across the land. We're a great popular party, and we can't disregard an effective presence on the territory. This is our atomic weapon, and with this, we will win.
No, grazie. A voi.
Ciao, grazie mille.